Okay, we're back again, and our first guest this morning is a gentleman that you've met before, and his wonderful talent is, he'll tell you what his wonderful talent is. This is Waylon Jackson. Waylon,
Thank you, Carol.
so glad to have you back here
I'm
again.
glad to be back with you.
And you tell people what it is that you specialize in.
Well, I have permission, before I tell you that, to show you this. This is Carol's book. If you have not read her book, she has 4 books plus a children's book, a historical fiction, and I highly recommend it. So go online, search Carol Love Forbes, and you'll find some wonderful reading material.
This is so fantastic to have somebody do that because, you know, I just don't expect it. And actually, we first met, he was in his car, and then I stopped and talked to him, and he says, I'm going to talk about another book. And he put it, and I said, oh, good. He said, another book. I said, oh, that's my book.
Well, it's such a pleasure to read. Your research is wonderful, and you tell it very, very well. So I recommend it to my friends.
Well, thank you so much, and I recommend you. Tell us what we got new today.
I have a book of poetry called Do Not Marry for Love. Some people are startled by the title because if you don't marry for love, what do you marry for? And I say, read the poem. But I would like to say a word first about poetry itself. A lot of people hear the word poetry and start gagging because it's something that's not terribly popular. But I have this theory about poetry, which I'll share with you before I read 1 or 2 of my poems, and it is this. If somebody gives you a sheet with notes on it, you can't hear it. You have to hear the sound of the music to appreciate it. To me, poetry is the same way. It has a beat, it has a rhythm, and unless you actually hear it, you'll never be able to fully appreciate it. That's my own personal theory about it. So, and for that reason, I want you to buy my book, Do Not Marry for Love, and this is the cover on here. These are my daughter-in-law's lips, if you're curious about that. The poem is, the first poem I want to read is called If I Return.
Oh, okay.
Here's the poem. If I return. After I die, after my body is lowered into the grave, burnt into ashes, or fed to wild dogs, if I return, may it be as a bird. Lifespan of months or years, no more, driven by season, snow, and storm, gleaning with never a Sabbath rest, falling to earth with none to mourn, banished from thought by all but God. They sail on placid lakes of blue, fly with full feathered wings, swim in heaven's crystal vault, split clear skies without a sound, surf invisible winds and clouds. They soar and soar and soar. After I die, if I return, may it be as a bird.
I love that. You know what is so many times people come in and say it's poetry, and it sounds like prose to me. It just doesn't sound. I always think that poetry has to have what you're saying. This rhythm.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, this was beautiful.
Well, thank you.
I want to hear the next one.
The next one is the title of the book is Do Not Marry for Love, and it is also the title of one of the poems in the book.
Okay.
The second poem that I'm going to read to you is Do Not Marry for Love. Do not marry for love. Like the tide, love flows and ebbs. Like a selfish toddler, it's never satisfied. Like a fire, fuel spent, it dies out. Do not marry for love. Like a fever, love will overcome you. Like the awe of Christmas time when only the wrappings remain. Do not marry for love. You are not prince and princess. No one lives happily ever after. Love does not conquer all. Marry her for the light in her eyes, the reflection of the sun through her hair, her intoxicating smell, her beguiling smile. Marry her for the shape of her hands. Marry her for the tip of her nose. Marry her for the warmth in her voice. Marry her because you match, because she's strong. Then comes love that knows neither tide nor season, that will not go away, that needs no stoking, and blankets the soul like a snowy benediction.
Wow, those are great. This is my favorite. You know,
I wrote this for my wife.
you wrote it for your wife, but you have to be honest about it. It's a lot of those things are love. If you love somebody's hands, if you like somebody's hands, that's some part of love, isn't it?
It is, yes. Well, the popular notion of love is a boy and girl meet, on the bridge in the middle of a storm. They fall in love and get married the next day.
Oh, yeah.
To me, it's like a bowl of mush.
Yes.
There's nothing permanent about that. But if two people commit themselves to one another, I commit myself to you, come what may. It's not I love you, it's I commit myself to you. Love will grow out of that.
Oh, I love that. My gosh, I never really saw it exactly that way. Well, what got you into writing these poems?
I don't know. I ask myself that question. And my brain just goes like a wild donkey, I think, sometimes. And if something snags on it, I try to write about it, either prose or poetry. And so I can't answer that question.
That's wonderful. And how long has this thing been getting after you?
Well, I'm 88 now, and I've been writing since I was about 80. And it's just something that I enjoy doing. I love words. In a sentence, you can say, I'm anxious to meet you, or I'm eager to meet you. If you're anxious, you think maybe he's going to slap you.
Yes,
if you're anxious, but if you're eager, you embrace this person. So just the choice of a single word is very, very important to every sentence, every story, every poem. So I like words.
That's amazing. I love the way you put that together. And do you have other things you've written?
I have this book, Do Not Marry for Love. I have my prose book, Frog Legs. And if people go to my website, waylandjackson.com, they can order either of those from there and go to my website. They can read my stories, poetry, see my art, my videos. I don't sing or dance, though.
It sounds just about like you're about to.
I wish I could.
So anyway, and your wife, does she do any writing? Or?
She died about 2.5 years ago after 62 years of wonderful marriage.
So sorry.
Well, I appreciate that. And I still think about her often. So.
Okay. Well, anyway, we're so happy to have you on.
Well, thank you for letting me come on.
And tell them again how they can get the book.
You can't order this online. You have to come to my website.
Okay.
And my website, I think, there it is, waylandjackson.com. Go there. You can order either of my books. Some of my friends' books are on there as well. I'm putting your book on. So when they go to that website, they will see your name and your book.
Well,
so,
I got it made now.
Well, I appreciate the fact that you're donating the proceeds to somebody else, to a cause. And that's a very noble thing, I think. So
I think
congratulations.
It's doubly. I think everybody so far has really, really enjoyed reading them. And that's part of it. And then the fact that it's going to help other people is another part of it.
I learned tons from this.
You did?
Oh, yes. It's a wonderful book. I recommend it. You should read it.
Let's see, to have time reading. Reading would be a lot less time than writing.
Yes, I'm sure.
Because, every time I come with a different family character, you had to get the whole history of what's going on then. So that took a lot of time.
And your work shows in here. It really shows. So congratulations. Come back again.
So is your work wonderful. Thank you so much for coming in today,
Carol.
Waylon.
I appreciate it.
Come back again, please.
I'll try to. Thanks a lot.
Okay. We'll be right back.